All right, ladies and gentlemen, last reaction for today. We had a very interesting chapter for One Piece, and now it's time to see what happens after Bakugo blew up All For One's face, or at least appeared to blow up All For One's face. So let's get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to another My Hero Academia chapter reaction and review! In the last episode, in the last chapter, we had Bakugo. Bakugo thinking about his life, and All Might thinking about his life, and how Horikoshi was kind of poking fun at people who think like, oh, this is the moment where the mentor dies, and as he passes the torch to the newer generation, and Night Eye in that panel was all like, you read way too many comic books. This is real life. So, and then it ends with Bakugo, who we've recently, and here's the thing, Bakugo is actually, and this is something I wanted to bring up with the next chapter reaction that I did for My Hero. What we all thought was Bakugo being awakened, he was already, his quirk had already evolved. It's already evolved. It evolved back when he was fighting Shigaraki, and he had like his cluster bombs, like his cluster grenade shots. He was already awakened. He's already been evolved. His quirk has already been evolved. I just don't know what this is right now because his eyes look like his irises have like an effect around them, like around his pupils that looks like it's like constantly exploding. It has explosions around his body. Don't know if that's an extension or if this is something greater. But Bakugo has already had his quirk evolved before. It was just recently when it happened. It's just been so long that a lot of us probably pretty much forgot about it. But let's begin and see where things go with chapter 406. Get a grip on your quirk. And we're getting the faces of pretty much everyone right now. We're getting the faces of everyone right now after they've been contending with their respective villains. We got Koda and Shoji. The riot at Central Hospital has been suppressed. Currently transporting captives and providing triage for the wounded. Okuto Island is under control. And we have Gang Orca here as well. The initial location of the Divide and Conquer mission is secured. The injured are being tended to. The battle at National Takoba Arena is ongoing. And mind you, Takoba Arena is the same place where Seto, Sato, and a lot of other members of Class 1A and 1B are at right now. It's still going on. Because that's where we have, that's where everyone else is at. That's where everyone else is at. Mr. Skeptic has been captured. Transporting him now! As Skeptic is being transported by Mad Dog and Miss Laugh. The escape to Shiketsu via the evac system is complete. Heroes are mobilizing to safeguard the refugees from the stalled block. The Jaku Hospital ruined site is under control. The whereabouts of Kurogiri, Eraserhead, and President Mike are unknown. That's still something we need to resolve. Then we have a rooftop that's currently raining on, and this is where Lady Nagant was. Remember, she, despite her injuries, resolved to help out Midoriya, but she's just laying on the ground after trying to use her rifle. And mind you, her rifle arm was broken because of Midoriya, but she's laying there. And then we have Rocklock going, this full mobilization on our part hinges on our faith in Izuku Midoriya. And then Lady Nagant is thinking, Izuku Midoriya. And then we cut to the location where All Might is on the roof that Bakugo placed him. And all we see is just this gigantic explosion. The same spot from where Bakugo was exploding All For One. And the explosion is so large, it eclipses the size of the buildings that's there in the town. What speed? Because Bakugo went from All Might to All For One in an instant before All For One could even react. So now Bakugo is moving at some like All Might level speed with his quirk. What speed? And then we have Edgeshot, who's still lingering on, surprisingly. When facing death, just for a moment, that boy's moves had even Shigaraki flustered. He seems to be on the verge of grasping something essential. As it shows All For One, it shows the crater where All For One was. Well, it shows the crater left behind by Bakugo exploding All For One and sending him right down to the ground. Gotta make use of this side effect. More! Again! More! And then it cuts to All For One, who's laying in the crater inside of this building going, enough of this. You come later. Because All For One is still trying to get towards Shigaraki. Then we cut to Midoriya and Shigaraki, while they're steadily fighting where they are. See that? I'll destroy your hold on me again and again. As it shows that Shigaraki is capable of decaying the black whips that are wrapped around him. And then it cuts to Midoriya, who we finally get to see the inner mindset of after so long. It's been a while since we had like an inner monologue from Midoriya in these chapters. I'm keeping my distance, while the Force danger sense is somehow keeping me alive. But how to deal with a superpowered body that can regenerate and inflict instant death? I haven't come up with an answer yet. The next time I use the second gear shift will be my last. Doesn't matter how long it's active even. As soon as it ends, the blowback will leave me immobilized. So this final activation had better count. It ends here, goes Midoriya. Go beyond! As it cuts to Midoriya, who's getting his shoot style, or not shoot style, because that's with his feet. He's getting his hands ready to flick and use his powers with the help of the second. We got Shigaraki, who has like the open holes in his palms because of the All For One quirk, and he's preparing. We have Bakugo, whose entire body is just constantly erupting with explosions all over his body. And then we have All For One, who's not even looking at Bakugo as his body continues to rewind as he's preparing another quirk in his hand. Go beyond! And then it cuts to Bakugo, who's dodging out of the way of a blast that All For One has, who's blasting in order to trying to get away. He's using a quirk to get away from Bakugo with high speed. Still at it, you filler character! Beyond, like zipping past me? Endeavor and Dark Shadow packed more of a punch than he does. Yes, he can wait. He can hardly measure up to All Might. And mind you, this is a childlike All For One who's steadily trying to get away. He's not worth advancing my rewound state. He's pointless. Our fates are not entwined. A mere pebble in my path. He's nothing! This is All For One trying to convince himself that Bakugo is not worth his time. Normally, All For One wouldn't need to constantly talk to himself in his head to convince him that whoever's facing him is not a threat. He's trying to psych himself out into thinking that Bakugo is not a problem. Yet if he's not a problem, why you keep thinking about him? I'm just wondering. And Bakugo's right there with that crazed look on his face. I figured it out. It's the pain. The pain as the beads of sweat stored up on my palms shoot through my whole body. The pain as they explode. The locations, the intervals. The pain gives me a handle on the timing of those backup blasts. So the sweat that's all over his body is constantly exploding. That's the reason why those little small explosions are happening over his body. He's just constantly exploding, but it's helping him get better. Those explosions that are happening all over his body is helping him with the timing of his blast. And as he's doing that, he's right next to All For One! All you see is boom, 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 boom. And he's right there, keeping up with All For One. What now? Ugh! Fast! Too fast! Can't stop! What's wrong with him? So Izuku, can I still catch up to you? For some reason, I feel like I could overtake you now! As it shows Bakugo goes straight through a building. He just goes straight through a building. And while he's still keeping pace with All For One! And then he's somersaulting while he's preparing to blast All For One, just as All For One is moving past an opening. While he's moving past this glass window, Bakugo is somersaulting while he's preparing to blast him. Then it cuts to UA, like the original, like the UA building, like the OG building, not the UA Fortress, because that's completely different. But it cuts to UA, and it cuts to someone going, "Honey, look, it's Katsuki." Oh wait, it's his mom. It's Bakugo's mom going, "Honey, look, it's Katsuki. It's Katsuki." No, I can't bear to watch, given who he's up against. You have to watch, cause I just know that boy of ours is grinning the way he always does. And it shows Bakugo, who's just grinning ear to ear as he's going all in. And All For One has this look of like, you have got to be kidding me. What is it about this insignificant pebble that vexes me even more than All Might does? And it cuts to the second, and he's thinking of the second. Yo, Bakugo reminds All For One of the second user. What is it about this insignificant pebble that vexes me even more than All Might does? And he thinks of the second. Of course, the resemblance. Yoichi, he's gone, Demon Lord. You killed him. As it shows All For One back in the day when he went up against the second user of One For All, holding the second user by the throat. The hatred I harbor brings back the memories so vividly. Right, it's him. It was always him. If only he hadn't reached out like that. And then Bakugo proceeds to blast All For One, the one I loathe above all others. And Bakugo blasts All For One, who gets sent flying into a building again. And mind you, these explosions are big. These are not small explosions to knock All For One off his flight course. No, these are explosions meant to body him. And it shows All For One slamming into another building while Bakugo is getting used to these backup blasts. He's getting used to it and righting himself already. As All For One, who's still regressing, even more so because his body is like lit up because of the rewind effects. He screams out wow. He is so angry, he's opening up his mouth loud enough to actually tear his mouth while he screams, "You're to blame for it, Kudo!" So we have the name of the second user, Kudo. We don't get the full name yet. And then we get Bakugo going, "Finally gone senile, bub? That's Kacchan Bakugo to you, you grade A moron! Yo! He called himself Midoriya's Nick! Yo! It's over! Bakugo! Yo! He doesn't call himself Katsuki Bakugo! He calls himself Kacchan! The nickname Midoriya gave him! Yo! Yo, oh my goodness, I could get so emotional right now, but I'm not going to. The fact that he calls himself Kacchan, Midoriya's nickname for him. That's Kacchan Bakugo to you, you grade A moron! And that's when this chapter is everything. This chapter is everything. Oh, such a callback. Do you realize how much he respects Midoriya now to fully call himself Midoriya's nickname? That's amazing. That's so amazing! I love this chapter. I love this chapter. I love this chapter. Bakugo calling himself Kacchan? To All For One, that's Kacchan Bakugo to you. Yo! Man, I'm so proud of him. I am so proud of Bakugo. I really am. I really am. Now, the thing is, as we go through this chapter, The central hospital, that's already been resolved. Shoji and Kota are being tended to. Gang Orca and the other heroes, they've already resolved the issues with the Nomu over at Okuto Island. Aoyama and Hagakure, they're taking care of everything else themselves over in their section. The battle at National Takaba Arena is still ongoing. That fighting's still going on. Kurogiri and President Mike and Eraser and Aizawa are still unaccounted for. Skeptic has been captured. They're being transported. And the escape to Shiketsu via the evac system is complete. So all the civilians who are making their way from UA to Shiketsu for safety, that's completed now. It's already done and over with. So every civilian who was there is now safe. The Jaku Hospital ruin site is completely under control. And then we got Bakugo, who's just taking it to All for One. And while that's going on, Shigaraki is still fighting Midoriya, and we come to learn that Shigaraki's decay quirk can also work on physical-based quirks as well, because he's capable of decaying and snapping away the black whips that were once binding him. And Midoriya is saying, like, the final activation of Gear Shift is going to be where it ends, because the blowback will leave Midoriya completely immobilized. And all four of them go beyond, with Midoriya preparing to use his power along with the power of the Gear Shift. We have Shigaraki preparing to fight Midoriya. We got Bakugo, who is just pursuing All for One. And All for One is all like, I can't stay here. I gotta go. And he just starts blasting off at high speeds, like, and the speed in which he's traveling is demolishing several buildings. He's just going through several buildings. Point blank, just without protection, he's just going through all of these buildings at breakneck speeds. And he's having this inner monologue where he's trying to psych himself out into thinking, like, Bakugo's not an issue. Bakugo's not an issue. But why is he... What? And he keeps thinking, like, he can hardly... Endeavor and Dark Shadow packed more of a punch than he does. Yes, he can wait. He can hardly measure up to All Might. He's not worth advancing my rewound state. He's pointless. Our fates are not entwined. A mere pebble in my path. He's nothing. And mind you, if something is not a big deal, you will not keep commenting on it constantly over and over and over again. You'll just put it out of your mind and move on to something else, or focus on something entirely. Yet, All for One cannot stop thinking about why Bakugo bothers him so much. And then we learned that Bakugo's sweat is like the pain as the beads of sweat stored up on my palm shoot through my whole body. The pain as they explode, the locations, the intervals. The pain gives me a handle on the timing of those backup blasts. So as Bakugo is sweating, he's kind of minorly exploding all over, because that's just where he's at right now. But it's also allowed him to perfectly time his blasts so he finds himself catching up to All for One. And mind you, All for One has it in his mind that he can easily get away from Bakugo. But Bakugo is catching up to him the same way All Might caught up to both Bakugo and Midoriya during their training mission when All Might was fighting them. When Bakugo's all like, okay, so you do this and I'll do that and then we'll take him out. And then All Might is just right next to him and you're like, Choo-choo! All right, so then what will you do? That's how Bakugo just appeared right next to All for One. And this confuses All for One because he can't understand why this kid will not let up. I told you, his mental capacity to remain calm in all situations has pretty much regressed to that of a child, where things that annoy him a lot more greatly than they could have if he was an adult. And now Bakugo is just getting on this man's last nerve, and he doesn't understand why. He just won't give up. And then it cuts to Bakugo going, so Izuku, can I still catch up to you? The fact that he doesn't call him Deku in this instant? The fact that he doesn't call him Deku and calls him Izuku? Yeah, progress. This man has fully progressed as a character. For some reason, I feel like I could overtake you now, because he just has that same crazed smile on his face that we all know and love. And as this is going on, Bakugo's parents are watching, and his mom is confident in His mom is confident, all like, I just know that boy of ours is grinning the way he always does. And then it cuts to All For One them going, what is it about this insignificant pebble that vexes me even more than All Might does? And it's because Bakugo resembles the second user of One For All, who we find out is named Kudo. Because Kudo is also the person who reached out to Yoichi and freed him. It's because of Kudo that All For One's brother was freed, and thus started the long line of One For All users. Because Yoichi was the first one, and then Kudo became the second one. So it's because of Kudo that Yoichi started everyone down this path to take down All For One. And the reason why it bothers All For One so much is because Bakugo resembles him. And this is right before Bakugo just straight up blasts him. If only he hadn't reached out like that. The one I loathe above all others. Because it's because of Kudo that we have the long line. It's because of Kudo that we have the long line of One For All users. Because he's the one who saved the first. And it was oh man. Bakugo's a bigger threat to All For One than he realizes, because Bakugo is a very tough individual to keep down. He's a very tough individual to keep down. But now that his body is getting used to all these explosions, all he's doing is keeping up with All For One and just constantly blasting him. No doubt forcing his rewind to continue onwards. And then he tops off the episode by All For One saying, you're to blame for it all, Kudo. And then Bakugo goes, finally gone senile, bub? That's Kacchan Bakugo to you, you grade A moron. So him just acknowledging the nickname that Midoriya has always called him, and him outwardly and vocally saying his name to All For One, Bakugo has peaked when it comes to character development. I'm so proud of him. And I know I had like a conversation concerning Bakugo in the past, like with the last chapter that we had concerning him, but Bakugo is by far one of the best characters of this entire series. He started out as a complete jerk, but he grew as an individual, and it has thus made him a far better character than we initially thought he was going to be. Because he started out as one of those trademark rival characters who will never get over the fact that the main character, Midoriya, is doing better than them. Now we got Bakugo up here, who's just as, I want to say, possibly as significant, like on the same level of Midoriya now. That's how I feel. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Bakugo. If you think about it, not only does Bakugo look a lot like him, but I bet that speed reminds him of that gear shift quirk. A lot of PTSD. The only issue you have is that he hasn't damaged Shigaraki at all. He's only been able to stall him really, and he's used gear shift a lot already, so he better find a way quick. I mean, he did say that his next activation of gear shift is going to have to be the one that ends it, because the blowback from him using gear shift is going to completely immobilize him. So he's got to end it. With the next activation, he's got to end it. Now, there's no telling if it's going to be the next chapter where we see that happen, but the next time he activates gear shift is going to be the last time. And I'm just now realizing that chat is apparently not displaying correctly. Hold on. I was wondering why I didn't see it off to the side. Hold on. Let me refresh. Because chat is supposed to be off to the side right now. You guys are supposed to be able to see yourselves right now. I don't know what's going on. Sorry if you guys can't see yourself off to the side. It's usually supposed to be, I'm usually supposed to be able to just copy it over and you guys can see what you said before. Hold on, let me fix this. Let me fix this. Because I want it in the video. I want what you guys have said to be in the video itself. Okay, I'm testing something. There we go. All right, you guys are off. You guys are on the side here. CDs, Psycho, Holster, everybody, everybody. All right. Okay, good. Everything is as it should be. But yeah, this whole altercation with Midoriya has been like he hasn't been able to do anything to put Shigaraki down simply because if he gets close to Shigaraki, all Shigaraki has to do is just touch him and he'll immediately start rotting. So he's keeping him at a hair's breadth right now. Because a lot of the times we saw Midoriya fighting Shigaraki, it was him trying to keep Shigaraki from touching him. But now Shigaraki is capable of decaying away Black Whip, or at least breaking it completely. Plus, Shigaraki has super speed regeneration now. On top of pretty much every other quirk he has access to. But we're just going to have to see where things go from here. Because how do you beat a person whose body not only has evolved to the point where he doesn't actually need to use a quirk to be superhuman now, but he has access to every single other quirk that's in his body, including the original All For One quirk that used to rest inside of All For One. All For One has a copy of his quirk in him. That's what he's using. But Shigaraki has the original because of Dr. Garuki. Or is it Daruki? Or is it Daruma? I think it's Daruma. I forget his name. Let's see. It's very understandable why he's a lot of people's favorite. You know, like, Bakugo has been #1 in most of the popularity polls, and after this chapter, I think he's become my favorite character, too. He's one of my favorites now. He definitely is. But there's another thing that we kind of need to resolve that we really haven't talked about. And we brought it up once, but we didn't stay on it for too long. The National Takoba Arena. That's still something that's going on. Whatever Midoriya needs to do, it needs to be stronger than all those missiles launched at Shigaraki during his fight with Star and Stripe. Yes, it has to. Now, one thing that comes to mind is when Midoriya got back to the UA Fortress for the first time. And he used a bunch of his quirks together to deliver Detroit Smash Quadruple, which, with the power of Gear Smash, apparently was a punch so powerful it bent the laws of physics. Like, it bent reality for him to deliver that punch. So he's going to need to do something even stronger than that. Let me say that again. You know what? Let me bring up Detroit Smash. Quintuple, not quadruple. It was quintuple. Yes. So, to describe it, activates Gear Shift on himself, launches himself towards his opponent, and then pummels his opponent with 5 Detroit Smashes in incredibly quick succession. This repeated action also serves to fuel Izuku's Fajin. Okay, where's his move? Where is his move where it was capable of bending the laws of physics? Because there's one where it says essentially bending, breaking reality. One of them does it. I think. Which one? I'm trying to remember which move specifically it was. I think it was Detroit Smash Quintuple. It might have been Detroit Smash Quintuple. Because one of his quirks, was it Fajin? One of them was capable of defying, it said it was, Okay, here it is. Overdrive. Yes, this is it. This is it. By activating Gear Shift on himself, Izuku is able to propel himself at great speeds towards his opponent in order to land powerful attacks. This boost in speed and power is able to be applied to existing ultimate moves. Fajin is also used to give the move greater power. I believe it was that one. And what were you going to say about Takaba Arena? Oh, I was just saying that Takaba Arena is a place that says that the fighting is still ongoing over there. That's the place. That's the place where we had Seto. Remember when we were talking about how they were at the arena? There's fighting that's still going on over there. There's fighting still going on over there at the arena. Because we have like the dragon lady. The dragon lady, she's over there. But I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find that one quirk. Because I remember specifically which move it was that allowed Midoriya to bend reality from the punch itself. I really think it was quintuple, though. I'm pretty sure it was quintuple. I'm just double checking over everything, but I'm pretty sure it was quintuple. Yeah, they might have changed some things for the description because it's not as big as it was before. All right, I'm gonna get off this. Yeah, we're gonna see Ojidor and Ryuku fight. Yeah. Whatever Midoriya needs to do. Yeah, but yeah, whatever Midoriya is going to do in order to take down Shigaraki needs to be stronger than the very first punch he landed on him, which was, and I remember specifically, it was called. It was called. Okay, chapter 369. Yeah, chapter 369. Let me actually go here. Yeah. Here it is. It's right here, chapter 369. In the present, Tomura wonders how he can see the vestiges of One for All as he crashes back into the battlefield. Just like the other quirks, Gear Shift grew stronger alongside One for All, expanding to apply a more diversive target to more diversive targets and function on a cellular level. Charging back downwards, combining the stockpiled power of One for All with Gear Shift can warp the laws governing reality. So, I need to go back to that. Midoriya is going to have to take down Shigaraki with an attack that is stronger than Detroit Smash Quintuple. An attack that is capable of defying the laws of reality itself. And coincidentally, chapter 369 is also the chapter where All for One is holding up the second user, Kudo. Because we got an image of it from a different angle in today's chapter, where he's holding up the second user. In chapter 369, the first couple of panels is All for One holding up Kudo by the neck back then. So we got a little bit more exposition. But now we know that All for One hates the second user out of every other user, and that includes even All Might himself, because the second user is the reason why the other users of One for All exists, and why his brother rebelled against him completely. So he hates Kudo more than anything. But yeah, Midoriya is definitely going to have to use something stronger than all those missiles and everything that Star and Stripe used against him. So we're just going to have to see. It doesn't appear like we are going on break after this chapter. It looks like we're going to be getting ourselves another one next week, so we're not going on break. We are, however, going on break for One Piece, so we're only going to be getting My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen for you guys next week. But overall, this chapter was fantastic. Seeing Bakugo take it to All for One and just body him consistently over and over and over again, I am proud of you, boy. I am so proud of him. And he calls himself Kacchan Bakugo now. I'm happy that he acknowledges the nickname that his long friend has always called him. He finally acknowledges it. Not Katsuki Bakugo, but Kacchan Bakugo. No break for My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen. Exactly. That's why I said I was only going to be doing My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen next week. That's why I said that. But I knew. We're on break for One Piece, but we're not on break for My Hero or JJK. But I'm proud of Bakugo. I am proud of Bakugo. Oh, I cannot wait for the next chapter. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with reactions for today. We had a very interesting chapter of One Piece, but we had a fantastic chapter of My Hero, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I really am. I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys all enjoyed my read-through. You typed it as I said it. Yeah, that happens. That happens to me so much. I be trying to say the same thing that a person says, and as I hit send, they say it, and it's all like, oh, had I waited, or had I been quicker. I know what that's like. Trust me, I know that feeling. But I enjoyed this chapter. I hope you all enjoyed how I do things on this channel when it comes to reactions, my dramatic readings and voices and everything. I really do hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.